Hey guys, it's your boy, the G-Man, back here again. It's been a minute since I've made any sort of videos, but before I even start this video, I would like to talk to you about my graphic novel slash manga, or whatever the freak you want to call it, that came out recently. It's called Pursuit. Yeah, I said that twice, but it's out now, and you can go on Amazon and check it out. Just type in Pursuit Volume 1. Code Geass or Death Note. Let's go. I recently finished both of these shows this year. Now, I am really late into the game. Like, really late in the game. I remember back in the day when I was watching YouTube videos, of like King of Lightning and Uber Ikari and Co-Provider and freaking Bobsamurai, all these different YouTubers I remember back in the day, and they would talk about show series like Death Note and series like Code Geass, and Co-Provider said that Code Geass was one of his favorite series anime of all time, and a lot of people would talk about how Death Note was freaking amazing and how Death Note was just was one of the masterpieces of manga. Digibro commented on his video when he was talking about about Death Note, about how it's like the perfect manga for marketing. Like, the premise is amazing, the main rivalry are amazing, the way the plot sort of plays out, and the fact that every aspect of the story feels like it was calculated perfectly to be marketed and for people to like it. That's what I remember Digibro saying in his video, and I can't say I disagree. It's one of the most popular, the most classic, the most prolific mangas of all time. I can't say the same for Code Geass, but in Japan, Code Geass is a big freaking deal, and most of the anime community have seen Code Geass. Now, I guess I'll give an overview of both series, and then basically tell you which one I personally enjoy out of the two. I'm probably gonna save that for the end because I don't want to spoil, because that's one of the things that kind of ruined Death Note for me, with spoilers. But yeah, starting off with Death Note. Death Note is a series about a high school kid named Light Yagami who comes across this notebook that says Death Note on the front of it. Basically, it's a book where if you write down someone's name while thinking of their face, they'll instantly die. Now, when Light first gets this book, he sort of sees it as just sort of a prank. But when he touches the book, he sees this spirit, which is called, in Japanese term, is called a Shinigami, or a death god. And when he sees it, it sort of drives home that this thing is freaking real, okay? And because Light has such a strong sense of justice, considering the fact that his father was a cop, that factor also comes in, and the fact that his father could arrest someone and they still won't go to jail, but they could still be a criminal. Light takes it upon himself to become basically the god of the new world, and to be the new world's form of judgment, judging criminals. So with the Death Note, he starts just killing criminals, whenever he sees on the news. But before he even gets into this, he tests it out on a couple times. When I remember, one of the early episodes, there was this dude who was assaulting this woman, and he was inside of the store, and he wrote the dude's name down, and he tested that, and that showed him that the book was legit. He wasn't just having some tour, and this wasn't no prank. This was the real thing. But yeah, Light starts going on his escapade to, or crusade, to kill various different criminals. And at first I was kind of, I completely get behind why Light would do what he did, because it's like he legitimately believes that there are people who do not pay for their crimes, and there are people who do a lot of messed up and screwed up things, and they just walk away like nothing happened. He feels like those people should be punished, and he feels like it's his divine right to do so, given the fact that he does have the Death Note. So yeah, a couple other things happen, not going into too much details, and Light runs into this detective. He's this amazingly intelligent detective that goes by the name of L. For a vast majority of the first half of the series, for the first half of the series, L is anonymous. Like, we don't really see his face. We don't see his face. All we see is like this computer monitor with his voice playing, and it's like weird because it's like more robotic, and they don't actually show his face. It's just L on the screen. And like, what he does to sort of get Light to sort of reveal his power is that he kind of tricks him into doing it, revealing that in a way he tricks Light, or Kira, his new name that Light calls himself. He tricks him into revealing his abilities and powers, not revealing his identity yet. But then that's kind of what introduces L to the plot, and then there's just this big cat and mouse game between L and Light, and L is just this sort of character who is very quirky and kind of funny, and he's just extremely intelligent. He's just so cool to watch. And then Light is just this jerk, but it's just like he's a jerk you sort of root for. So it was kind of cool seeing their dynamic play off of each other. For the most part, the series is a very, very solid series. Like, up until like probably episode 28, and I don't really remember the chapter in the manga. But up until that point, the series was really, really freaking solid. Another things to factor in when it comes to the Death Note series. The writers behind Death Note, they kind of made a comment on this in their series called Bakuman. When we were getting close to the end of Bakuman, the two main characters, they created kind of like their version of Death Note, which was like this heavily calculated, planned out story that they knew was going to sell and they knew people were going to love. But the series was approaching its conclusion, and like, they were worried about continuing the series, but then their editors were telling them to continue the series because they wanted to promote the series with the anime. And that was like a perfect parallel to what happened with Death Note, because even though it's like, some people say it's a theory, but I personally believe that when it came to the second half, like near the end of the series, even though its ending was good, like, a lot of the stuff that happened before the ending in the second half was of lower quality, and a lot of people did not really like it as much as they liked the first half. And like, looking back, that factor, even though it wasn't the writer's fault, is still something to factor in when we're talking about this Code Geass versus Death Note situation.